Hello everybody, welcome to Chapter 6.1 Part 1, Equivalent Fractions. Equivalent fractions are, for example, if we have one whole of something, we can break it down into 2 halves, 4 quarters, 8 eighths, etc. But yet they are all exactly the same size, which means that they are equivalent. So we see that 1 over 1, which is the whole, is equal to 2 over 2 for the 2 halves, 4 over 4 for the 4 quarters, and 8 over 8 for the eighths are equivalent fractions. We can see that 2 eighths is the same length as 1/4. So 2 eighths and 1/4 are also equivalent fractions. So here we see 1/4 and 2 eighths are just as long. We can also see the same concept using circles or pies. Can you see that 2/5 covers the same area as 6/15? Also, that 2 over 8 is equal to 1/4 or 1/4. 2 over 8 equaling 1/4 are also equivalent fractions. And here, can you see that 2 quarters is equal to 1/2, and so does 3/6 equal to 1/2. These are also equivalent fractions. Example number 1. How would you use a hexagon to show that 2/3 is equal to 4/6? Let us go over to the whiteboard and show how this can be done. So in example 1, we're going to draw a picture of a hexagon. So there's our hexagon. And we're going to break up our hexagon into thirds. So to do that, we're going to do this, this, and this. So let's say this is 1/3, this is 1/3, and this is 1/3. So there's our hexagon, our whole hexagon, and each is 1/3. Now we want to further break it up into sixths. So how would we further break up our hexagon into sixths? Well, we can take our hexagon, and we can now divide each of these thirds into 1, 2, 3, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So each of these is 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6. So it turns out if we were to have 2/3 of a hexagon, so this would be 1/3, 2/3, the red ones. So 1/3, 1/3 plus 1/3 is equal to 2/3. And then if we will look at, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4/6 inside there. So we have 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6, and that's equal to 4/6. But if we were to reduce 4/6, because we can divide the 4 and the 6 by 2, we end up with 2/3. So indeed, we could have 4/6 and 2/3, and that would be the answer to the question. Reviewing what we just did, since 3 rhombuses, diamonds, fit in a hexagon, we can show that 2/3 by using 2 of them. So 2/3 is equal to 2 shaded out of 3 equal parts. So here we have our hexagon, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-sided. And here's a rhombus or a diamond is 1/3. And here's another third. The hexagon can also be divided into 6 triangles. So here is our hexagon, and it can be filled in with triangles. Since 4 of these triangles fit in the same space, meaning they're equivalent fractions as the 2 hexagons, we have 2/3 is equal to 4/6. In example number 2, we're asked how can we use an egg carton to show another fraction that is also equivalent to 2/3. So let us go over to the whiteboard and my carton of eggs, and I'll show you how to do this.
In example 2, we're asked how we could use an egg carton to show another fraction that is also equivalent to 2/3. So, well, an egg carton, as you see, we have 12 eggs here, and that would be a carton of eggs. So we want to show 2/3 of these eggs. Well, if we break them down into thirds, so here these 4, that's 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. So that will make up our 12 eggs. So if we were going to show 2/3, we'll take out 4 of these, because we're going to subtract 1/3 from that. And here we are left with 2/3. And 2/3 means that it's equivalent to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but there are 12 slots, so that means that the 2/3 of an egg carton is equal to 8/12. So if we were to reduce that, we can multiply the top and the bottom by, so we multiply the top by 4 and the bottom by 4, and we get back our 2/3. So that's one way of looking at it in terms of using an egg carton. So again, what that means is if we have 8/12, and we want to see, is that equivalent to 2/3? Well, because we have 8 eggs that are filled in a total of 12 slots. So if we divide 8 by 4, we get 2. And if we divide 12 by 4, we get thirds. So indeed, we can reduce that, and indeed we get 2/3. So this egg carton is 2/3 full.
Let's review what we just did with the egg carton. To show 2/3, we use an egg carton divided into 3 equal parts, with 2 parts circled. Since there are 12 eggs, we get an equivalent fraction of 8/12. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. We also know numerically that 2/3 is equal to 8/12. If we multiply the top and the bottom by 4, we get 8/12. 2 times 4 over 3 times 4, and that will give us 8/12. Thank you very much. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Be well, take care, and goodbye for now.